Of all the heroes in the Absolute Universe, Wonder Woman is easily the most positive. Where Batman and Superman are weary and indignant, Diana tries to be better and lead by example. What makes this all the more spectacular is that she had a rough upbringing. Cast into hell by the gods of Olympus as an infant, and raised by the witch Circe, Diana didn't feel the warmth of the sun until she was an adult. So you might expect her to be a little bit bitter about that, but the opposite is true. Diana is upbeat and positive. She acts as an inspiration to everyone she meets, a real beacon of virtue, and she makes friends wherever she goes, including some of the goddesses. And that's exactly why the establishment felt they had to bring her down. Veronica Cale, director of the government's mysterious Area 41, identified Wonder Woman as one of the biggest threats their nation had ever faced. She attempted to bring Diana under her control through magic, and when that failed, she orchestrated a smear campaign to turn the people against her. But Diana's actions earned her the trust and loyalty of the civilians. So Cale decided she had to break her instead. In trying to save Giovanni Zatara and his daughter Zatanna from Cale, Diana was captured and dragged to Area 41 to be experimented on. Whenever Diana tried to escape, she was zapped with powerful energy which kept her under control. What's more, Cale also nabbed Diana's friend Barbara Minerva. Just as things seemed hopeless, rescue came from an unexpected source. As part of Diana's bargain to leave the underworld, she had to return for a calendar month each year. Seeing Diana was in trouble, one of her patrons, the goddess Persephone, asked her husband Hades to invoke that part of the deal. Their intention was to save Diana from Cale, and it literally was the only way to free her, but as a consequence, Diana is now trapped in the underworld for 30 days, while Barbara is left behind. Diana has proven that she doesn't care what people do to her. She can take any punch or blow, but what she cannot abide is the suffering of others. And the fact that one of her closest friends is likely being tortured and turned into the next Cheetah is pure agony. In trying to save Diana, the gods may very well have damned her. And that's where this issue picks up, the first in a two-part story detailing Diana's 30 days in exile and what happens on the surface in her absence. In mythology, a 30-day exile carries weight. It is viewed as a cosmic reset rooted in the lunar cycle, a period of waning into darkness and rebirth that directly connects Diana to her namesake, the moon goddess. Historically, 30 days represents the ancient spiritual period of mourning and transition, as seen in the Torah and the Bible, and I'm also reminded of Jesus' 30 days and 30 nights in the desert, where he meditated and resisted temptation. I think Moses spent 30 days atop Mount Sinai too, so that immediately connects Diana to religious saviors. And of course it's a direct reference to the myth of Persephone, it's just compressed into 1 month rather than half the year. All Diana can do is make her way home, but she finds that her mother's house has been burned down and Circe is nowhere to be found. Additionally, some of the creatures that lived with them are dead, and Diana makes the decision to bury them rather than repurpose their bodies as ingredients for one of her spells. Remember that Diana befriended these creatures, whereas Circe traditionally saw them as resources. She mourns their passing and intends to return them to the earth rather than make them into a product. Examining the charred remains of her home, she can see that Circe put up a fight but was taken away. So she digs out her armor and a massive axe and decides to right this wrong. Now, on the surface world, the media reports that Wonder Woman has been kidnapped. They state that Diana has a staggering 91% approval rating in Gateway City, but that minority of 9% who don't like her are becoming more vocal in her absence. And this ties into what Cale has suggested before. Diana's actions have endeared her to the population. Just taking her off the board has really made her a martyr. In Diana's absence, Cale tries to invade her base of operations, the Huron, but Steve Trevor is there with his lawyer. Diana had cast a spell of protection over her home. If anyone with bad intentions gets within a mile of it, they will start to feel unwell. And if they get too close, they won't be able to keep their breakfasts down. But Steve reminds the soldiers that he is very well aware of the law. They are trespassing, and unless they have a warrant, they will have to leave. Checking in with the Candy Sisters, and we can see that they too are stepping up. While Gia has embraced her affinity for magic, Etta has opened up her own investigation agency, which is quite a step up from mystic shop owners. Etta's investigation seems to lead to Gotham City, and Gia jokes that Etta had better try not to die in that awful place, but she must say hi to Batman if she comes across him. And before I continue, special thanks to my channel members, the Back Issue Brigade, who helped to make this video possible. If you want to see your name on screen in future videos and get access to some exclusive videos, join the channel now. So with that out of the way, it's time to check in with Barbara Minerva, who is still locked in her cell. I had assumed that Cale was going to torture her and force her into becoming the next Cheetah, but that's not quite what has happened. Barbara sits in isolation alongside the last Cheetah's corpse. Remember that the flaming sorcerer Zatara had killed her and used her blood to power his magic. But the really strange thing is that despite being dead for days, Cheetah's corpse hasn't started to decompose and her blood hasn't dried up. Though maybe the strangest thing is that Barbara has started to hear a voice, who identifies itself as the ancient god and patron of the Cheetah, Ertzkataga. Being a scholar of mythology, Barbara knows exactly who this is. She describes him as an African plant god, which he views as a little reductive, but he has come to her with an offer. He will help her if she agrees to become his consort. Now, that didn't work out very well for the last Cheetah, but he notes that Barbara is different. She's a very smart woman, and she has experience with magic, science, and the supernatural. This would make her the perfect partner. And it's precisely this experience that tells Barbara to be wary. She doesn't trust anything that Ertzkataga says to her. Remember that making deals with gods often have unintended side effects, so she decides to investigate for herself. She deduces that the blood of the Cheetah is important, and so she tastes it, as you do, which puts her in a trance. She can see the life experience of the last Cheetah, Priscilla Rich, and true to her name, we see that she was a vapid socialite lounging around in Ibiza, talking about how the Cheetah was her spirit animal, super fast but quick to give up. When she accepted the deal with Ertzkataga, likely not knowing what she was getting herself into, she resisted and became unwell. That is when her father, a wealthy man, brought in Veronica Cale. Cale's experience as the director of Area 41, which deals with mysticism and the supernatural, makes her one of the most qualified people to deal with this. Priscilla's father threatened to pull funding if Cale couldn't fix his daughter. But her attempt at fixing isn't exactly what they had in mind. She argues that the reason Priscilla is so unwell is because she's resisting becoming whatever she was meant to be. No treatment will be successful other than giving in and allowing the transformation to take place. Whatever she becomes, it's got to be better than being deathly ill, right? But once her transformation is complete, Cale locks her up in Area 41 because she has become a monster. And this perfectly demonstrates that actually Cale has no idea what she's doing. She's presented as an expert, but all she's doing is making guesses and then dealing with the consequences. Priscilla tells Barbara that she's in a tough spot. Accepting Ertzkataga's deal is a curse, and the fact that Cale has her is just as bad. She's damned if she does, and damned if she doesn't. The only other alternative is to hope that Diana comes back for her, which doesn't seem to fill Barbara with much confidence. Although given her intellect, she likely knows that Hades had taken her to the underground against her will. Back with Diana in the underworld, and she resumes her search for Circe. She has narrowed the list of suspects down to just a handful and starts her search with the Manticore, a mythical creature that has a head of a man, the body of a lion, and a scorpion's tail. While it is innocent of kidnapping Circe, it doesn't exactly endear itself to Diana by attacking her for intruding on its hunting grounds. Still, Diana proves its innocence by unleashing her lasso on it, turning back all the pain it had ever inflicted on others onto itself. Despite its hostility, Diana decides that she doesn't have to kill it, so she puts it to sleep using a spell. As Diana continues her quest, she makes camp for the night on a cliff's edge, and it's here that she's visited by Hecate, her patron. Diana immediately knows that Hecate was behind Circe's abduction and her own imprisonment in the underworld. Hecate needed Diana to be focused and busy, and Diana notes that she'll never forgive her if her mother or Barbara die because of her actions. And this ending shows us that the gods do not have our best interests at heart. Sure, they may have a fondness for us, but they view us as pawns in their games. As Barbara noted, humans rarely do well when it comes to making deals with deities. Absolute Wonder Woman 21 is available now from all good comic shops. If you enjoyed this video, stick around because I'll be back next week to talk about Absolute Martian Manhunter 12, the finale of the series, Absolute Green Lantern 16, and Batman number 11. Hope to see you then.